Well, you're known as the tactical one in the family. I mean, at least that's the word they use around you, right? And for your quinceanera, your great aunt Chuck Norris gifted you the most tactical, most popular flashlight in the world, as long as you believe weird internet ads. That's right, the Lumitact G700, the official flashlight of blue-colored ocean-dwelling mammals and people who use web TV. She said she only paid $60 for a flashlight that retails for over 200, so I mean she got a great deal, right? Way better than that $400 toaster she only paid 100 for on QVC. Now, hear me out, but what if I told you the G700 is only an $8 eBay flashlight with some extra engraving on it? You're like, bro, I already know because I'm your great aunt. Wow. Well, I'll be honest, there's nothing wrong with this flashlight as long as you don't pay more than $10 for it, have had a few beers, have no standards, and there aren't cops around. We're still talking about flashlights, right? The light the G700 is based on is sold all over eBay, Amazon, or basically anywhere cheap flashlights are sold. The price varies anywhere from $6 to more than the G700. To prove this, I bought a $6 variant off of Banggood called the Miko. The original design it is based off of is said to be an Ultrafire 878, but I really didn't do a lot of research on that. You can go to eBay and enter XML T6 zoom, and you can eventually find dozens of variations of this light at different prices. You can go right now if you'd like. One thing to note is the quality will often vary between sellers, even for lights that look identical. So let's take a closer look. The Miko is slightly smaller in its dimensions, but by only a few millimeters. Oftentimes, basic flashlight designs are copied by manufacturers in China and revised over time. That means if you bought one design today and bought the same light a year later, the parts may not Lego with one another because of minor manufacturing differences. This is true of the Miko and the Lumitact G700. Both lights are the same basic design though, with the same markings on the head. Both lights have reverse clicky mechanical switches, very similar size heads, similar knurling patterns, etc. I will say the anodizing on the G700 seems better than the Miko, and that's about the only thing I'm going to give it. I don't know, and who's to say a G700 you might buy next month won't be slightly different? Both lights are constructed out of aluminum and have similar machining. Both lights are that crappy 5-mode design with no mode memory that always starts on high. The modes go in order from high, mid, low, fast strobe, and SOS. There is noticeable PWM in both lights on all modes but turbo, which show up like weird scrolling lines in video, but PWM can even show up in premium lights. If you leave the light off for more than 3 seconds, it always starts on high. If it's off for less than 3 seconds, it will go to the next mode or give you special Navy SEAL powers. I'm pretty sure I saw that in one of the ads. The emitter in both is a cheap Cree knockoff called a Lattice Bright. It looks very similar to an XML, but has a gross bluish tint, which may not sound bad if you have a Smurf fetish. Let's see. Why don't we do an output test just to waste more of your time on this borderline scam? I'll put the Miko on my lumens measuring device and then the Lumitact. The outputs are similar but not exact. This is due most likely to the bluer tint of the G700 emitter, slightly different lens sizes, and the secret conspiracy to defame the world's best flashlight. You'll see both lights side by side here, and my figures for each light. I'll unzoom it first and give you the figures for high, then mid, then low, and show you strobe and SOS. Now you can die a happy person. Okay, next I'll zoom it in. I'm not going to go into strobes this time, but first is high, then you have mid, and then you have low. You'll notice the zoomed in and zoomed out figures are different for low, mid, and high. This is common in all zooming lights due to the lens and change in focal length from the zooming action. Check out my review of the Brightmax B158 for another review of a zooming light that isn't an overpriced piece of shit. Okay, so let's do a single runtime test on high for both lights. I'll place them side by side and use a Sanyo 2600 mAh battery that I use in most of my reviews. Both batteries are charged to the same voltage, and I'll just let these speak for themselves. It's just a flashlight turning on and letting it run out. Okay, finally let's examine what the Lumitact comes with that the Miko doesn't, and vice versa. The Miko comes with just the light, a lanyard, a 3 AAA battery adapter if you don't want to use 18650 lithium-ion batteries. Expect shorter run times with AAA batteries. The Lumitact comes in a cheap plastic case with a cheap charger, 2 cheap batteries, along with the cheap stuff the cheap Miko comes with. Oh, and a cheap plastic sleeve to prevent battery rattle with a 18650 cell. I tested one of the 18650 batteries included, and spoiler alert, it isn't anywhere close to 4200 milliamp hours because 18650 sized lithium-ion batteries can't produce that capacity. If you see anything over 34, I think there's 3500 milliamp hour batteries now, you know it's a lie. The actual capacity is about 1600 milliamp hours and it only charges to 4.08 volts. Assume it's a trash unsafe battery like inside of all of those hoverboards and expect it to eventually catch on fire. Okay, so a few final thoughts. If you see anything made by Lumitact like the Shadowhawk X800 or whatever the shit it's called in another 6 months, please be aware it's probably just a rebranded clone that you can get for a fifth of the price on eBay. The Shadowhawk X800 seems to be a version of this with a slightly bigger diameter battery tube for use with 26 650 batteries. It actually looks more like the Ultrafire 878 than the G700. And if you have nothing better to do right now, how about Google G700 scam or Shadowhawk X800 scam? Because there's plenty of reading on the internet about it and the companies behind these flashlights. Or should I say marketing campaign. If you're looking for a budget flashlight that can output a ton of light, there are better alternatives at most price points. You're like, but man, where do I find this out? Easy, subscribe to this channel and watch my videos for all kinds of recommendations and terrible jokes. Anyway, thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe to my outdoor gear review channel, like my videos, comment on them, and please don't buy this light. But if you did, don't worry. Everybody falls for something sometime. Like $50,000 on film school.